Hello, everyone. Welcome to your favorite Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus episode of the year, the official NCAA March Madness preview show, the only official March Madness preview show. The other ones are all fake. We are here powered by Fairway as usual. They power us whether we're talking about high school sports, college sports, get in trouble with the billionaires and millionaires of the world, of which there are many. Controversy through thick and thin. Fairway Food Stores, and I'll tell you what, Fairway Food Stores loves basketball. They love they sponsor our show, Hunter. But you see any high school, state, blah blah blah, they're there. Fairway's there. They're there with us all the way, and all the other advertisers that are on this show, they're scrolling by. Some of them are sponsoring a team in our newspaper ads bracket challenge. Hunter, we got to jump right into this. What time of year is it, Hunter? What month is it?
One of the best months for sports of the year. That would be March. It's March Madness season.
Would you, and Hunter and Peter can hear me too, would you guys consider March the number one? If you were to power rank all the months, what's number one? Because I think that March might be my solid number one, and then probably
I think it would be March because it's so we just get sports consistently. It's just it's like it's nonstop for just every day basically. And I love that.
I do too. I love that this basketball tournament just takes all the worries in the world and it puts them on pause just for a tiny little bit.
I would say March Madness is probably top 2 sporting events ever.
I agree. Just as far as the love that it gets, everyone loves it. Everyone's all in. Everyone's making brackets, making bets. It gives me some time to take some time off from losing money on the NBA, which I appreciate. And it's just a good time. And if you're watching this as it comes out, it's Thursday. Now listen. Here at Prep Sports Plus, we have something called the Prep Sports Plus March Madness Challenge. Which of you have our groups pulled up right now? Peter, Hunter? Either of you have our groups pulled up?
I can't read.
Go on.
I want one or both of you to pull up our groups and read. There's something important that I put in the little breakdown thing, the little spot where there can be words on these March Madness groups. This is March Madness, Prep Sports Plus Men's Madness 2025 for the men's tournament. Prep Sports Plus Women's Madness 2025 for the women's tournament. This is on ESPN. We've tweeted out links. Some of the links apparently aren't working because ESPN, I think ESPN's technology, they just kind of got it right for 2004 and then they've never updated it. So a lot of people are getting the 404 error. I am. But if you search it, Prep Sports Plus, you have a gray hair sticking up there. Prep Sports Plus Madness, Men's Madness, Women's Madness. Do you notice anything about what's going to happen to the winner of these challenges?
I am
guys?
noticing that. I am noticing something here.
Oh, what are you noticing, Peter?
Well, it looks like it says here, winner gets to be Person of the Year in Southeast Iowa until December 31st, 2025.
That is for the men's. Yes, that is huge. Person of the Year. And then I'm not sure if either of you have the women's pulled up, but the women's champion. We pull that up under.
Champion of the Year in Southeast Iowa.
Champion of the Year in Southeast Iowa until December 31st.
The champion. So you could be the Person of the Year and the Champion of the Year in Southeast Iowa. There's only 50 states, and there's only a few regions of every state. That's a pretty important Person of the Year and Champion of the Year, and it could be you. You have to join. By the way, I switched it originally. I thought it'd be funny. Whoever won the men's bracket challenge, regardless of their gender, was going to be the man of the year, and then whoever won the women's challenge was going to be the woman of the year, regardless of their gender. And then I switched out of that. But Yeah, you have to join. Password is newspaper with a capital N. Very easy password.
You have until tomorrow at you have. Let me see. On the men's, it says you have 1 day, 46 minutes, and 40 seconds and counting.
And if you're watching this at 10 a.m. on Thursday, you have about 46 minutes.
Yeah, they close at 11:15.
To at least make your bracket. If you've got a bracket on ESPN, I'm going to wait to lock the groups until like dinner time on day one. That way some people can join in, watch this. We can't keep it open the whole time, Hunter, remember?
No, because people will put in their brackets of teams that they know have already won.
People will make multiple brackets and then swap. We had some cheaters. Cheater.
We never knew who it was.
We disqualified them that first year. Anyway, yeah. So we're gonna get into the men's bracket. We're gonna reveal our picks. You're gonna be watching this on Thursday. Got my muffins here, ready. Shout out Fairway Food Stores. We're going to make our picks region by region. I'll take us through each region. We'll talk about our biggest upsets, and we will reveal our Elite Eight matchups and winner to get a Final Four for each of us. And then when we're done with the four regions, we all have our Final Four announced. Then we'll each go through and say who our champions are. So I'm excited to figure out who you guys have picked. We're going to do it for women's too. We might, on the B block, we'll do it for women's as well. Maybe a little speedier. Yeah, Hunter, you ready to roll into it?
I'm ready.
We're going to start like we always do, Hunter. We're going to talk about the top left region, which I believe is the South region. By the way, shout out to the men's tournament for doing South, East, West, and North. The girls do like, they
Region
name their
1, Region 2, Region 3, Region 4.
Yeah. Some of those people, whoever comes up with region names, need to be fired from the girls. But anyway, Hunter and Peter, I'll go Hunter, then Peter, then me.
Yep.
And we will first round upsets from the South region. What do you got?
So first round upsets. So obviously, I will admit this year, it feels like I feel like the discrepancy between the talent is a lot closer than, the last basically 3-4 years. I feel like it's been that, but it feels like it's even closer. Maybe I feel like there's probably 4 teams that you could comfortably have as a national champion. But out of the South region, biggest upset for me, I guess just when a lower seed I think is going to win. I think Creighton's probably going to beat Louisville. I have Yale beating Texas A&M. I have North Carolina beating Ole Miss. Actually, that's it for the upsets. The Marquette New Mexico game is kind of an iffy one for me. I have Marquette winning that, but I could see New Mexico winning that too. But so for upsets, Yale, North Carolina, which I feel like North Carolina is kind of a sneaky 11 seed because they've been playing probably some of their best basketball, and they played Duke pretty close both times, and I feel like they're playing some of their best ball right now. I feel like they might have a little chip on their shoulder because everybody is pretty PO'd that they're even in the tournament, which they really shouldn't be in the tournament. But
they're basically getting sued. The government's involved.
I saw a crazy stat that said North Carolina has one win against it was something crazy. It was like
quad one. They're like 1-12 or something.
Yeah, but then none of the teams they have beaten, or it was none of the teams that they've beaten are even in the tournament. Or something.
Yeah. And then last night for us, 2 nights ago for everybody else, they just put the hammer down in that play-in game. I knew that was going to happen. I should have bet them because
that was San Diego State, I think, right?
Yeah, they killed them last night.
Beat the living crap out of them.
Yep, just absolutely rolled over them.
Yeah.
So so Hunter has first round upsets. You got Yale, North Carolina, and Creighton, right?
Yep. And obviously Creighton and Louisville is an 8 and 9, so I feel like I could probably go either way. But
yeah, who do you got, Peter? Who's your first round upsets?
I had the same ones. I had Yale over Texas A&M, and I had North Carolina over Ole Miss. I really highly considered San Diego over Michigan, but I'm giving Michigan the edge because I think they have a little bit more talent and they think they're a little bit more sharper.
Well, then I better just move on to mine. And I have 3 upsets in this region. Yale, North Carolina, and Creighton. We have a guarantee on the Prep Sports Plus. We can guarantee you can go ahead responsibly and go ahead and parlay the money lines for those 3 and all the rest of the favorites, because that is what will happen in the first round of the South Fork. You don't get 3 sports experts agreeing on something and it not happen. So in the South, we all have Creighton, Yale, and North Carolina, which means our South first round, we're all tied together. No one's going to move ahead of each other in this first round of the 3 of us. So good picks, man. Good picks.
Appreciate it.
Now let's go to the West, the wild, wild West, which I believe is. I'm scrolling down here because it's. But I believe the West would be the. That would be the bottom left. I'm on the ESPN app, which means it's not like the bracket doesn't look right, but this is bottom left. The West region. Florida is the number 1 seed in this. Hunter, who you got upset wise here?
This is another tough region. So, a couple ones that I could definitely switch out. I know I have Maryland over Grand Canyon right now, but I know Grand Canyon is notably an upset team. Is known for upsetting bigger, smaller seeds. So maybe switch that out later on. But as of right now, I've got Colorado State beating Memphis. I've got Drake over Missouri. Arkansas, obviously, I'm a Kansas fan, but I still have Kansas over Arkansas, but John Calipari led team. They're always going to be good, so that one kind of scares me a little bit, but still have Kansas over them there. So really the only couple upsets, which I'm sure you have Drake over Missouri because I know you do like Drake, but and I know for Peter it's probably hard to pick against Missouri, but so just Drake over Missouri and then Colorado State over Memphis are my only real upsets in that West region.
Probably my kid's first memory of the game that they actually knows goes on is I told her that Missouri was playing against Des Moines and she was pretty pumped because those are 2 places that she knows. Peter, what do you got?
I also have Colorado State over Memphis. It might be a homer pick, but I did not have the heart to pick Missouri over Drake, just because if Missouri, it's the battle of the tempos. I think Drake has one of the slowest tempo offenses in basketball. Missouri has one of the fastest, and I think Missouri can play a fast enough tempo to thump the Bulldogs. I also have Arkansas over Kansas. That 4 is crazy with St. John, Omaha, Arkansas, Kansas. That's a crazy 4. And then I have Oklahoma over UConn because I was at the SEC tournament last week and Oklahoma played a monstrous good game against Kentucky, in which they lost on a buzzer beater when they gave up the baseline for a game winner. So I think they're playing really tough basketball than people expect. And I think they're on the up and UConn's on the down. And this is a league about streaks. You got to go on a streak, got to go on a run. And I think Oklahoma's on that run right now. I got the Sooners.
It's a streak league. So Hunter has Colorado State, Drake, and then Hunter, you still pick Kansas, right? So you just have Colorado
for the first round.
Yeah. And then Peter has Oklahoma, Colorado State, and Arkansas.
Yep.
I've got Colorado State, so we're all even on that. I've got Drake. Love Drake. I love Drake. Not just because I'm a Central Iowa guy at heart either. I did not pick Arkansas. That's probably the hardest game for me is the Arkansas-Kansas game. I think it's going to be a weird thing where Kansas gets a little bragging rights over Calipari. I have UNC Wilmington over Texas Tech. 1 out of disrespect for the Big 12. This is a 14.5 spread. This is a huge spread. 2 out of disrespect for the Toppin family because JT Toppin plays for Texas Tech. We all know that we have to hate Obi Toppin because of Luka Garza. And 3 because it's just North Carolina basketball. I don't care if it's UNC Wilmington. It's a weird 9-10 game, 9-10 p.m. I don't know. I just have a weird feeling about it. And then 3, I just want Drake to have the easiest. So that might be a biased pick. So yeah, I have Drake.
That's all right.
Colorado State. So there we go. So we, you know what? We're pretty even. I mean, we're pretty close to each other though. Here, we're not. We're all in the same wheelhouse through two regions. Now let's move on to the East region. The Duke Blue Devils are the number 1 seed in this region. Hunter, what do you got upset wise?
But this is probably the reason that the region I'm most back and forth with in games. Really, the only upset I have right now is I have VCU over BYU. Even that one's a tough one to go back and forth on because if BYU shoots well, like they did against Iowa State, BYU is pretty dangerous. But also, I feel like BYU is one of those teams that is I always pick and they always lose. So I'm going to go against them this year. And I know VCU is obviously, they know what it takes to play in the tournament. I know they've been there a lot in the mid-major programs. But as of right now, pretty much the only upset I have out of that one is the VCU game. But like Liberty, Oregon, kind of a scary game. I mean, Mississippi State, Baylor can go either way. St. Mary's, Vanderbilt is another one that it's kind of hard to pick. But I think this region's probably the hardest to pick for upsets as of right now, just because I don't really trust. I don't really trust VCU, but I don't trust BYU either, and I don't know if I trust Oregon. But hey, I almost picked Liberty because we have former athletes go there. So,
the Hospitallers. Yeah, Liberty is. I've had friends go to Liberty. You know, I respect Liberty, but wait, you had just VCU.
Just VCU.
Peter, who you got?
I also have a really chalk East region. There's so many that could be 50-50 that I just went with the higher seed. So I have BYU over VCU. I thought about Montana over Wisconsin, but I do like how Wisconsin played in the tournament, in the Big Ten tournament, I should say. Vanderbilt St. Mary's is also another very close one for me, but the only upset that I have is the very boring Baylor over Mississippi State in the 8-9 game.
Yep.
That is very boring. I'm going to hit preview here, see what the spread is in that one. Baylor's
1.5.
Betting odds favorite, 1.5 favorite. 1.5 points. All right, well, there's only 2, and both of you only have 1 upset, and both of you have 1 more upset than me, because mine is totally chalk now. Full-on transparency here. I did have VCU over BYU. I had to switch that pick because I have to cheer for BYU because my 3-year-old has picked BYU to go all the way. That is her champion because they're very blue and they've got a Y and her name is Molly and she knows that Y is in Molly. So she picked them all the way. So I can't cheer for them to lose the first round.
You know what? I'm looking at Baylor's. No, never mind.
There are.
I'm looking at how close their games were, and it's like Mississippi State. Like it really hasn't had a close. I mean, they had a 5-point loss to Kentucky and then a 4-point loss to Alabama. But other than that, like all their other losses, they got beat by Alabama 111-73.
You're thinking
whereas Baylor played Houston 65-61, Texas Tech 76-74, Houston again 76-65. I think I might switch mine to Baylor winning this one.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Is that guy on the staff or was that Ole Miss or Mississippi State, the guy that used to do this? The Rhino. Remember that guy? Everyone hated him. You guys are pretty young at that point. There was a guy for one of those schools that he would hit threes and he would do this. And he would always get into it and he was super cocky. I don't remember his name. Anyway. All right, let's go Midwest region. Houston against a school that we love here, SIUE. If it was their wrestling program, I would have SIUE winning this entire thing for New London wrestling fans out there. But Hunter, who do you got in the Midwest upset-wise?
Hold up here, I lost it for a second. Midwest, here we go. So in the Midwest, we'll look through here quick. Really only one upset. and it might be kind of surprising. Gonzaga Georgia game. I went with Gonzaga, but I know that's the 8 and 9s are obviously always probably the hardest ones to pick, just because it literally can go either way. But Clemson McNeese is another one that I wanted. I kind of want to pick against Clemson. In that one, I might change that one later. So keep an eye out for on McNeese there. But so far, I have Illinois losing the first round to the winner of Texas Xavier. So 11 taken down to 6 is my only upset right now in the Midwest.
So 11 over 6. Yeah, Illinois does seem like. Well, I'll talk about that a little bit with my pick. But Illinois, you see the. Sorry for all Illinois fans, but when you see the Illinois eye, the orange eye, you just feel like it's kind of weak, isn't it? It's like football too. I'm like, I pick all Big Ten teams when their bowl games, and Illinois always usually lose.
And
Peter,
it's kind of hard too because like the Clemson McNeese game too. I mean, McNeese has played Alabama decently close. I mean, it was an 8-point game, 8-point loss.
Yeah.
And they lost to Mississippi State by 3, but I mean, played Liberty close. But I don't know. Clemson has some big wins. I mean, they beat the crap out of North Carolina, beat Duke, obviously one of Duke's 2-3 losses, beat Kentucky. Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, it's kind of like what Clemson team's going to show up. I think for that matchup.
Yeah, I have a hot take on that one, but Peter, I'm going to have you go first. Who do you got upsets wise in this bracket?
This region is like the Green Goblin mask calling to me in terms of upsets because there is just so many that I want to pick, but then I know that historically there's so many that have let me down. Like we talked about McNeese. You know the story of McNeese. Will Wade got caught cheating for paying players, got fired. Then they made it legal to pay players, and then they got him at McNeese for cheap. And he has just run the Southland Conference since. But
he has.
They just can't win a tournament game. And so that's one that I really want to pick, but I have Clemson. Utah State, UCLA is another one. I really want to pick the Aggies, and they always play so close in the tournament. But I went with UCLA by just a hair. The upsets I do have, just like Hunter, I have Texas or Xavier beating Illinois. And the one I have is I have High Point over Purdue. I have High Point taking down the Boilermakers, who have had a...
It does feel like Purdue could lose.
It does. It's either Purdue's going to go to the Final Four or they're going to lose in the first round, and I'm banking my money on Matt Painter having a very sudden vacation.
Ooh, very sudden. I like that. The only time I ever have a sudden vacation is if I get sick or break something. I only have one in this bracket. It is McNeese, and I'm going to give you my number one reason. If you click preview on the app, you see their top 2 players. You just get to stare into the eyes of these players. It's something I kind of like to do when I don't know what's going on. I look at the players, their pictures, and I just stare and wait for them to tell me something. This guy, Ian Shefalini, he's the second best player, second leading scorer for Clemson. I don't know much about him. I hope he doesn't have any ties to our show or our area, but I don't know, the hair, it's like a weird fro. It's kind of messy. He's pretty pale. Just kind of seems like one of those people that has like a, I don't know, that kind of has like always has like a runny nose and is sniffing a lot, and just seems like the kind of guy that's going to be shaky when he shoots the ball. I think that guy's going to ruin it for them. And then on the other side, this Allen Breed dude, 17.5 points per game versus McNeese, got the real tight goatee thing here. He just looks like the kind of guy that's going to lead them. And everyone's picking Clemson. Clemson had a huge run last year. A lot of people are picking them to go far. I think that's the trap. I think McNeese beats them. And then everyone else, I went with the favorite. I will say, I wouldn't be surprised if Illinois loses. I will be cheering hard for SIUE no matter what my bracket says because of the Lopez brothers for New London, much like we cheer hard for Liberty. My lock of the century is Gonzaga 5.5 over Georgia. I think I love Gonzaga in St. Mary's. I wish they weren't to 7-8. Anyway, I'll talk about that a little later. But we're gonna go through Now, we're going to go, I'm going to turn it over to Hunter. Now that we went through the first round, you tell me, just speed through. Tell me what your bracket looks like in the South region and tell me who you have going to the Final Four in the South region.
Sweet 16, you mean, or you want Final Four?
Go all the way. For the South region, just rush through it because now it's less games. So just be like, all right, this is what I have happening in this.
Okay. So, biggest things, so my biggest things is I do have Auburn, Michigan going to the Sweet 16. I do have Michigan beating Auburn, Michigan making it to the Elite Eight, eventually losing to Michigan State. This might be a shocker. I've got North Carolina beating Iowa State. Iowa State is without Keyshawn Gilbert for the rest of the season. One of their premier players all season long. I feel like Iowa State was 15-1 to begin the season, has been 9-8 ever since.
Yep.
I don't know why I have a weird feeling about North Carolina, but got them eventually losing to Michigan State, setting up a Michigan State-Michigan Elite Eight matchup with the Spartans making it to the Final Four, and then the rest of the way down here. I've got Texas. Actually, I just mentioned this. I got St. John's beating my Jayhawks in the round of 32, so kind of might change that, but we'll see. St. John's has been playing. I mean, obviously, Rick Pitino's got that team firing on all cylinders, but Texas Tech, St. John's. What's that?
Yeah, go through. Give us your entire Elite Eight, and then who's your Final Four?
Oh, my entire Elite Eight. So I've got Michigan State, Florida, Texas Tech, Duke, Alabama, Houston, Tennessee, and I've got Michigan State playing Florida in the Final Four, and then this one hurts to pick for me. I got Alabama playing Houston in the Final Four, so I got Duke losing to Alabama. And then for my championship, I've got Florida cutting down the nets in San Antonio, defeating Houston.
Florida over Houston. You got the South showdown of the one seed.
So now I got some time to change this a little bit. The Duke Alabama thing is I feel like Alabama in the SEC tournament was without Grant Nelson, former North Dakota State standout. He was injured in their game against Tennessee or Florida where they lost. I think that would have made a difference in my opinion, but they lost by 10 or so or something like that. But I think Alabama's still dangerous. I'm still one of the best teams, obviously, in the country. But I did have them winning the national championship at one point. Then I decided to switch it to Florida because I feel like Florida is, resume looks good. They're playing out of their mind too. So I'm rolling with the Gators.
When I was young, Florida was the king of the mountain. I remember two years in a row they were the favorites and won the tournament. So you have Florida over Houston. Then who's your other two Final Four teams?
Oh, one sec. Let me pull up.
Sorry.
The other Final Four is Michigan State taking on Florida, and then Alabama taking on Houston. That's my Final Four.
Michigan State, Florida, Alabama, Houston. You got Florida over Houston in your championship game. All right. Tell me how your bracket ends up, Peter. Give me your whatever's your Elite Eight, and then your.
Okay.
Tell me what's going down.
I'll give you the Spark Notes, the round of 32.
Love it.
St. John's, pretty chalk West, 1-4-3-2. I have Michigan beating Auburn and going to the Elite Eight, and beating Michigan State and going to the Final Four. Michigan is one of my Final Four teams.
Wow.
Another shocker, BYU beating Wisconsin in the round of 32. I have Gonzaga beating Houston. I think there's going to be one seed that's going to fall flat on their face, and I think Gonzaga is a good trap team that has been quiet all year and can make a spark. I have them going to the Elite Eight. My Final Four is Michigan losing to Florida, and I have Duke beating Tennessee. I have Cooper Flagg and company. John Shire brings victory back to Durham, brings back the Coach K team. I have the Blue Devils over the Gators in San Antonio.
Duke over Florida. Ooh, a little Southern charm for both of your finals here. So, like I said, you have Duke, Florida, Michigan, and
Tennessee.
And Tennessee. Tennessee might be your team to follow. What in the heck do I have Tennessee? I see it. All right. I'll give you the clip notes for my round of 32. First off, the two teams that scare me the most that I did not pick in the second round Gonzaga, and UConn. I could see both of them. I could see UConn just turning it on and just snapping right back into it. I almost just picked
UConn's scary. UConn's scary because I feel like they have national championship pedigree, and I feel like Hurley can get those guys like fired up. And I feel like they're a team that they're probably the one team outside like of the top 5 seeds that I could actually see making it to the Final Four or something crazy like that.
I just feel like such a dummy because I just watched UConn for 2 years. I know they're different players. But I just watched UConn for 2 years just roll through everyone, not even have a close game. No, you know what? I got UConn over Florida. I just made that switch. I have to go with my gut on that one.
I was going to do that. I had that picked at one point too.
I know. I just can't. I have UConn over Florida. I have St. Mary's over Alabama. I love St. Mary's. I don't know. Those are teams that they're going to go to the Final Four, and I'm going to regret that I didn't go further with them. But I love them. I love Drake. So my Elite Eight, I love North Carolina. I also have them beating Iowa State. Hunter, I don't trust the Cyclones. Love North. I feel like North Carolina. It's like you just get ripped by the media. The thing is that this is like if North Carolina would have got killed last night, there might have actually been some change in the NCAA. But guess what? There's never a change in the NCAA. For some reason, God's got them. I don't know. Maybe they, I don't know what it is, but the NCAA always comes at it unscathed. And so North Carolina, I think, is going to make a run, save their butts. My Elite Eight, Michigan State, Michigan, like you guys, I do have Michigan State winning. St. John's, who I love, over Maryland, who I love. I'm really putting a lot of chips on the West bracket, St. John's and Maryland. I feel like those are going to be. And then Duke. And Houston, I'm very scared of. I actually have Kentucky over Tennessee, so I have Houston beating Kentucky. I'm very scared of Houston because of the Gonzaga situation. And then my Final Four: Michigan State, St. John's, Duke, Houston. I've got Michigan State winning. I've got Duke winning, and much like our friend Peter, I am a believer of the Duke Blue Devils. I'm a believer of Cooper Flagg, John Shire, and I think this might be only the second time in my life, which has been a long life so far, that I've picked Duke to win. Just something about them, guys. It just feels like this is a year where Hunter said that there's a lot of upsets anybody could win, and sometimes when anybody can win, it just for some reason it just seems like Duke wins. So,
yep.
So me and Peter both got Duke, and Hunter's got Florida.
Connor has Duke winning in his bracket.
Connor has Duke. Yeah, I might as well say my children. So Molly has BYU. She went all the way to the Final Four. My wife was helping her out, and then she got mad because the teams she picked weren't blue, and so then my wife had to go back and make all the blue teams go through, and so she's got BYU. I think BYU or Creighton, I believe, is who Molly has. And then Addie, who's just in that perfect age where she sees the word Iowa, and she's like, "Yep, going with them." She's got Iowa State winning it all over, she's 7 years old, over Wisconsin. So she's got red. So I've got a blue kid and a red kid. And by the way, my 7-year-old Addie, what I did was I let her look at all the players on the preview thing so she could look. And any team that had guys that dressed in their suits for their picture, you know how some of them dress in suits and some of them dress. Yeah. She would, whenever there would be a team dressed in suits, she'd say, "No, I'm definitely not picking them. They look too handsome. They're not ready to play basketball." I was like, all right. Well, they're not going to play in the suits. So no team that has suits moved on. So Iowa State, Wisconsin for her. And there we go. And by the time that you guys watch this whole show, you're going to be able to see everyone's champion because you're going to be in the Prep Sports Madness 2025 Men's Challenge.
Samantha has, I forgot to mention, Samantha has Houston. You wanted me to let you know.
Samantha's got Houston? Who does she got Houston beating, I wonder?
Who do you have Houston beating?
I think Samantha had a good run last year.
Samantha did have a good run until she had Kentucky in the Final Four.
I feel a lot more confident since you guys basically convinced me.
She has Houston beating Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. Yeah, you guys love Texas Tech, baby. It's the topping.
The Texans.
I can't pick the toppings.
Yes. Samantha's dad gave her crap about picking. He's like, "What do you like the South or something?"
Yeah, those are red teams too. She's got the same disease that my child has. Just pick all the red teams.
That's funny.
It's tough. When we come back, we're gonna go a lot quicker, but we'll talk about our Final Four and our champions on the women's side. Less amped. Last year, the women's side was like our show was basically all focused on the women's side because of Iowa. This year, we'll go through it quickly. We all know who's going to win or who's going to win the championship. So stick with us, and we'll give our picks for the women's, which are going to be the same picks of all of you because there's going to be no upsets like always. Stick with us.
Introducing Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every meal is a delight. Start your day with our mouthwatering breakfast options and savor flavorful lunches with friends and family. Cap off your day with our delectable dinners. Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every moment is delicious.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
Washington County Hospital and Clinics, providing quality health care that puts you first. Whether during a hospital stay, seeing a primary care provider for wellness exams or sick visits, minor surgery to a total joint replacement, or recovering from an injury, we're here when you need us.
More than you expect for your health care. Washington County Hospital and Clinics.
Welcome back to Prep Sports Plus March Madness preview, powered by Fairway. We're going to give our champions, our Final Four for the women's. Any crazy upsets, if you have any, you can throw them out there. We're going to do this much quicker. Yep. Last year, so women's basketball took over our show for like an entire year because of, you guys know what it was about. You guys know. Hunter, it's time for you to reveal which number ones and 2 seeds you have prevailing in the because I know that's who we all have.
Yep. I have in my Elite Eight, I have 2 3 seeds, and they would be LSU and Notre Dame. And my Final Four might be a little shocking, maybe not. I do have UCLA taking on USC in the Final Four, and then might be a little shocker. One of the teams won't. South Carolina taking on Notre Dame and the other Final Four, and winning this bracket, it's really hard for me to pick against Dawn Staley and the Gamecocks, but I've got USC cutting down the nets, defeating South Carolina in my bracket. Connor,
big man.
Connor has UCLA and USC playing again, with UCLA winning this one, and then South Carolina taking on number 5 seed Tennessee in the Final Four, with South Carolina going on to defeat UCLA for the national championship. Samantha has Texas winning it all, defeating who? No, it's not Texas Tech and the girls. UCLA, USC. She has Texas beating USC.
Oh, shout out to the 2006 Rose Bowl.
Yep.
One of the best sporting events of all time.
So I got USC winning it all. Connor's got South Carolina. Samantha has Texas.
That's 3 number 1 seeds. Let's see if we can bring it home. Peter, who do you got?
I'm very close with Hunter, except I have the Lady Vols taking down the Fighting Irish. So I have USC, UCLA, South Carolina, Tennessee. I have USC, South Carolina in the championship, but Dawn Staley is just too much. And if you see from my bracket name, if you go to the tournament challenge, it's called Unfortunately, It's Dawn. It's Dawn's world. We all live in it. I have the Gamecocks over the Trojans.
I do like the idea of Dawn Staley just winning like 8 championships, or 7 out of like 8 championships, just keep winning, and that's just being like the only team she lost to was Iowa that one time. People forget I have Elite Eight. I've got 1, 3, 1, 2. Why do I even have LSU? Maybe I should. I have LSU over NC State. All right, so I've got UCLA over LSU, USC over UConn, South Carolina over Duke, and TCU. Shout out. The redemption of Haley Van Lith, I think, happens this year. I think that she got criticized on social media for a girl that is in her low 20s. I think that's hard to internalize. She seems to have done it, but I know it's burning inside of her. I hate that she's going against Notre Dame. To tell you the truth, I was going to pick Iowa State to go very far, and then they ran into, this is a stupid bracket with putting Texas, TCU, Notre Dame, and all of them all in the same one. So I have UCLA, USC, South Carolina, and TCU. I have UCLA against South Carolina. And even though I 100% know that South Carolina will win the championships despite the fact they have a couple injuries, and even though I would bet my own life that South Carolina was going to win, I just couldn't click them. My finger, it was like the liar thing. I was like, ugh. So I picked UCLA. Love Lauren Betts. We should have went after her. Iowa should have. I remember when we were like, oh yeah, Lauren Betts might come to Iowa, and then everyone's like, no, we have enough players. It's like, dude, what?
If she would have came to Iowa, Iowa was 100. We would 100% won the national championship, no doubt.
Sure would have. That was a horrible mistake.
That was the only thing that we were missing was an actual big, a tall girl to rebound. Like Lauren Betts is what, 6'7"?
Yes. She's awesome offensively, defensively. I watched UCLA USC all the way this third time around. I know USC beat her the first time. She just gives me confidence, you know? Like when I picture the... And by the way, can I just tell you guys, maybe this is mismanaged, but I have a weird amount of confidence in Iowa. I think that we're going to put together a good run. Just love the flow.
I got a round of 32.
I have them losing to Oklahoma in the second round. I don't know if they can beat. Actually, I haven't beaten Oklahoma in this one. Never mind. I have Iowa going up against UConn for the little rematch, and then UConn.
Me too. I have UConn beating Iowa, but I would love it. I'll get into this. By the way, shout out to that stupid 3-on. We are pro Caitlin Clark, anti Angel Reese podcast. We always have been. Saw a lot of hype because Angel Reese's 3-on-3 team won their little tournament, even though she didn't even play in the playoffs. But people are really going crazy about it. So congratulations on your 3-on-3 tournament. I'll tell you what. Let me tell you something. I went and played with the Mount Pleasant girls varsity basketball team, as did Slayton Swords from KILJ. We played, it was like their awards night. We had some games. Slayton at KILJ got second in the knockout against the varsity girls and their dads and me and some others. I consider Slayton's second place performance in that knockout game to be of more value than the 3-on-3 unrivaled championship. So let me just say that.
The best thing about that unrivaled championship was Indiana Fever's Lexi Hall being a part of that.
Yeah. That's legitimate for her though. But for the rest of them, it's not. I didn't even know it was still going on until the playoffs started. I was like, what? And then I saw that Angel Reese won. I was like, oh, crud. And it took me 30 minutes to realize that she didn't even play in the game.
Remember when we used to hate, everyone used to hate Aaliyah Boston because she was a part of South Carolina, and now she plays with Caitlin Clark, so everyone's like, oh, she's cool.
I do remember we all used to hate her. We were like, yeah, we did. I don't know why, but it's because as Iowa fans, we run into this hate. Obi Toppin is one that we used to really hate on, and obviously I still carry that because I didn't pick Texas Tech because I believe that's his brother.
Because I think it is his brother.
We're going to go to a commercial break, right? We all said our champions, yes. And then when we come back, we'll have 5 minutes to each of us will say our favorite memories of this great month, March. We'll be back.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you to that dream vacation with a savings account designed to help get you on the flight there. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
Bring the kids, share the memories, celebrate 75 years of traditions at the Midwest Old Threshers Reunion. Relive the magic of steam engines, antique cars, and trucks, tractors, gas engines, and horses. Whether it's your first visit or a cherished tradition, you'll enjoy the delicious foods, the thrill of an Old West shootout, and the excitement of nightly grandstand entertainment. For 75 years, this has been the place where memories are made at the 2025 Midwest Old Threshers Reunion, August 28th through September 1st in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. Visit oldthreshers.com for more details.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Hello, boys and girls, men and women, cats and dogs. We're back. Prep Sports Plus March Madness Preview 2025. We've given you our winners. We've given you our losers. Now let's roll through before we go into this March. When you think of March Madness, Hunter, what are some moments that stick out?
Yeah, a couple moments that stick out to me for at least as a Kansas fan. Definitely the comeback against UNC a couple years ago. Down by 15 and a half, come back and win it. Mario Chalmers shot over freshman Memphis-led Derrick Rose to send the game to overtime and eventually win the national championship back in 2006. Definitely there.
2008.
In 2008, I mean, I said 2006, 2008 it was. Couple Iowa ones. I mean, the Ali Farouk Mesh is like one of my worst as a Kansas fan, but cool for you and I, obviously. The Jesperson 3 halftime or half court heave to beat Texas was a good one for the Iowa ones. I've seen a lot of cool ones. Probably the best the best national championship I've ever seen. Besides the Kansas one when they played UNC and came back was probably Iowa high school legend Marcus Page, UNC.
Yeah.
Taking on Villanova. That was probably one of the best national championships ever. Marcus Page obviously hits a double clutch 3 to tie it, and then Chris Jenkins, who was leading the nation in 3-point percentage, comes down, gets basically an NBA 3 wide open look, buries it to win the national championship. That was I felt bad for Marcus Page because I wanted him to get a national title, but
me too.
That was like, the height of Villanova too. That team. Like, you look back, that Villanova team was kind of insane. Was Josh Hart there? They had Josh Hart at one point in time. They had Jalen Brunson at one point in time, all on the same team.
Brunson was there for that one. Yeah.
Yeah, Brunson was there. Was Mikal Bridges there too? I think Mikal Bridges was on that team too.
Maybe he was. They've got a lot of good players that come from Villanova. They all seem to do well in the NBA. By the way, that was internet history. That was the first time that the Jordan crying face got put on Michael Jordan.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was
history right there. Peter, you got any memories?
I think I had a lot of similar ones. I remember Ali Farouk Manesh. You cannot be serious with that shot. Jesperson's half court. One on a personal note, I remember the Adam Woodbury game winner against Temple. That put back 3 was really fun to watch.
Yep.
But
just shoves the guy. It was great. I loved it. Watching it work.
I also remember, this was very early on in my life, but the Gordon Hayward just barely missing the 3 to beat Duke in the national championship is also one that I have ingrained in my head.
That was probably my most memorable tournament. Was that one? Well, that one of the year after. I forget which year that was compared to the UNI run. I agree with all yours. Yeah, Farouk Manesh is always my number one. Jesperson. I'm glad that UNI has positives. They also had that meltdown against Texas A&M where they got through by the refs. and then everyone just forgets about that part. And then
I remember one when I was so mad at myself because I went to the Indy one when they the 2021 COVID one, and I watched my Missouri Tigers lose in the first round to an Austin Reeves-led Oklahoma squad.
It's tough.
And I was like, I don't want to watch any more games today. I just want to go back. And my friends were like, are you sure you don't want to watch Abilene Christian, Texas? I was like, no, Abilene Christian's going to get smoked. It's like 10 p.m. I want to go back to the hotel. And I came back to Abilene Christian beating Texas. So that's it's one. If I had a time machine, I'd have to go back and fix that.
Doesn't that hurt more because then Mizzou would have played them, right?
No, Mizzou would have. Oklahoma went on to play one-seeded Gonzaga, and they got cooked.
Let me go through some bad memories for all of the Iowa people watching, which is pretty much everyone watching. Hampton over Iowa State 15-2, the worst moment of Iowa State's lives. For me and Iowa fan, Northwestern State, and now Richmond. The Northwestern State hit different. I know Richmond was a worse loss technically, but the Northwestern State, you guys were little kids when it happened. Iowa just won the Big Ten tournament. We looked so good, all seniors, and it happened during school, and it was during passing period. So I was just peeking into different classes on my way to my next class, watching the end of it, making sure something horrible didn't happen, and something horrible did happen. Offensive rebound, wild three. That was horrible. And Drake, Western Kentucky. That was an underrated one that no one talks about. That was just a rock and jock three by some dude, white guy named Rogers, I think. Those are horrible memories for me. Not Hampton. I didn't care about them. I actually thought it was funny because my friends in elementary school used to pretend to be Jamal Tinsley, and he missed a shot to win it. And then, Woodbury. We got a few high. I wish we had more memories in Iowa, but and then I also remember that I was at a restaurant when I watched Purdue lose to Fairleigh Dickinson, and that was like the one year that I trusted Purdue to go all the way. So I think I picked them. So
I was at a bar when that happened.
Yeah, I was technically at a bar too, but I was at the.
I also remember not watching Virginia UMBC because I always thought they're down by 10, but it's the second half, they'll bring it back, and then it'll be 16 minutes left in the second half. Oh, they got time, they'll bring it back, and then it was 3 minutes left, and they were down by 20. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna lose.
And then
I didn't watch
next year.
And then they won the Natty the next year.
I remember that too. I remember there was I waited until there was 7 minutes left to stop what I was doing and be like, all right, we gotta watch this basketball game.
That was the first time number one ever lost, right?
Yep.
And
then,
and then Purdue did.
Now this year, I don't think it's gonna happen this year, but you never know. Once the game starts, then it's oh crud. Isn't that funny when you fill out the bracket? Yeah, when you fill out the bracket, you're like, there's no way this team's gonna lose. And when you watch the actual basketball game take place, you're like, oh crud, I should just dartboarded it. So anyway, Connor looks confident. A lot of chalky picks from Mr. Connor over there, but I like it.
I think he might win. He's pretty confident.
He does look pretty confident. Got the passy. Got the pacifier.
My computer away from me.
Classic. He loves basketball. I saw Connor at a basketball game. He watched Mid-Prairie West.
He loves basketball.
So, love it. All right. I think that's it.
That's all we got. Best of luck in the brackets. Get out there and make them.
Hey, and you're watching this when it comes out. Make sure, go to those bracket challenges. Press Force Plus, Men's Madness 2025, Women's Madness 2025. If you have a bracket already, put it in there. Only do one for you. You can put two in there, but I made that so people can put their kids in it and stuff like Mr. Connor here. Happy March, everyone. We'll be back next week to talk about how all our picks lost.
Yep, and how all our brackets busted probably within the first 2 days.
And whoever's winning the bracket challenges, you're going to get shouted out on the show. Don't worry.
Yep.
All right.
All right. See you next week. Peace.